Coal ash covers thousands of acres once used by power plants in the tri-state. A potential dream deal to redevelop a closed plant in Lawrenceburg collapsed, leaving that community with unanswered questions about what happens next. Questions remain about cleanups and redevelopment facing communities throughout the tri-state.
In our ongoing year-long series, Closed and Undisclosed, the WCPO9 I-Team is investigating the closures of tri-state coal plants and also the potential risks to our air quality, our drinking water, and economic future. Tonight, Chief Investigative Reporter Craig Cheatham looks at important lessons from Lawrenceburg's lost opportunity.
10, 9, 8.
The towering smokestacks at the Tanners Creek generating station stood for decades.
Fire.
But in 2018, carefully placed explosives brought down the most visible landmarks of this closed Lawrenceburg power plant. The American Electric Power Company closed the plant in 2015. A year later, St. Louis-based Commercial Development Company bought the property contaminated with potentially harmful heavy metals, planning to set the stage for a development that would create jobs and tax revenue. This possible rise from the ashes focused on a once-in-a-generation business deal. In 2017, the ports of Indiana bought an exclusive right from Commercial Development Company's affiliate business, Tanners Creek Development, to acquire the 725-acre site and turn it into Indiana's fourth port, a major industrial and commercial transportation hub on the Ohio River that was expected to create thousands of jobs and millions of dollars in tax revenue.
It was an exciting time when we were talking about, jobs that are generational, so to speak, because once you put a port in, it's not going anywhere.
But Lawrenceburg Mayor Kelly Malone says that excitement died last September when the ports of Indiana ended the agreement. A remarkable opportunity that crashed into the dust of a now distant dream.
It's a huge disappointment.
In a news release last year, the state's port authority said there wasn't enough developable land for a port because it would take years to clean up the contaminated property.
It is frustrating. I would have expected more to be done up to this point.
Commercial Development Company declined the I-Team's request for a comment on the Tanners Creek site. The company says it's North America's biggest buyer and developer of environmentally challenged retired industrial real estate. It owns more than 300 properties, including the purchase of 7 power plants since 2014.
And the people are left here going, what are we going to do?
Lawrenceburg resident Pam Ragacci says she lives about a mile from the site. Her biggest concern is the groundwater contamination and its impact on drinking water. In 2018, consultants hired by the ports of Indiana conducted a subsurface investigation of the land and groundwater, finding coal ash 40 feet below the ground surface. Soil and groundwater was contaminated with heavy metals, including arsenic.
It's scary. I mean, would you want to live here?
The groundwater in local municipal wells is safe to drink, according to the Lawrenceburg and Aurora Utilities departments. But despite their assurances, Ragacci says she doesn't drink or cook with local tap water.
No, I don't.
The Indiana Department of Environmental Protection has approved Tanners Creek Development's plans to clean up much of the coal ash and contain it on the site. But IDEM confirmed parts of the overall cleanup plan are still unresolved. Tim Maloney, Senior Policy Director of the Hoosier Environmental Council, says state regulators have failed to take the most important step to protecting the community and its groundwater.
The answer is to excavate the coal ash and move it to a safe lined landfill where it won't be contaminating groundwater.
The Hoosier Environmental Council has filed petitions with the Indiana Office of Environmental Adjudication, requesting changes to the cleanup plan, including the removal of the coal ash and more wells to monitor groundwater contamination, claiming Tanners Creek Development and IDEM are failing to follow Indiana regulations requiring management practices that are protective of human health and the environment. In court records, Tanners Creek Development says the approved plans comply with the law.
Economically, it does not make sense to leave a contaminated site covering hundreds of acres that puts an invaluable drinking water source at risk.
Maloney says the coal ash is also in the 100-year floodplain of the Ohio River.
It's almost like a perfect storm of conditions that are about as undesirable as you can get.
But in this company brochure, Commercial Development Company insists the Tanners Creek site offers, quote, outstanding development attributes and can easily accommodate manufacturing, data centers, and port operations.
It will eventually be a very nice piece of property for development. I firmly believe that. We're going to do everything we can to protect this city.
Craig Cheatham, WCPO 9, I-Team.